Hello, I'm Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com and welcome to all the WTF moments from this week's thrilling instalment of Friday Night SmackDown, a night where we celebrated 25 years of Triple H in WWE by looking at how crap he was. Yes, there was a golden shovel on show, but the golden shovel on this show turned on Triple H and buried Triple H's ass, all while Vince McMahon was also there, not making any sense whatsoever. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I'm okay. Hit the intro. WTF! And we're kicking things off with Kofi Kingston story blocking us fans, as we were just about to hear about the lady and or ladies who wrapped themselves around the waist of Big E, just like how on last week's SmackDown, the SmackDown Tag Team titles once again wrapped themselves around the waist of the New Day. They called them ladies. The belts are ladies, apparently. And I'm sure you at home, just like me, when Big E was going on to speak about the lady and or ladies who wrapped themselves around his lovely svelte waist, was Big E going on to speak about Becky Lynch's mom? Did he let her ride him like a bicycle, or whatever they said on Twitter back in the day when their romance was blossoming? These are very important questions we need answering, and Kofi Kingston, you stop that from happening, you dick. And then we have Lindsey Dorado, who appeared on the stage with Gran Metalik, and he said the following: the New Day are 8-time tag team champions. That's what I call Lucha lit. Oh. And I tell you what, Lindsey Dorado is very lucky he's a cat, because he just died on that stage. And he's got more lives or something, aye. And then to follow that up, to give us yet another WTF moment almost immediately, Lindsey Dorado said to Gran Metalik, "Hey up there, Gran Metalik. Hey up, that was good that, wasn't it? Hey up, Papa." Papa? Did you know that Gran Metalik was Lindsey Dorado's biological father? Because I didn't. Or maybe, just maybe, to take things back to WTF Moments videos from the year 2018, maybe Gran Metalik is Lindsey Dorado's daddy. "We actually served our country," said Steve Cutler about the Forgotten Sons. And I know he did, and I know Jackson Riker did, but what about Wesley Blake? Do we have yet another Sergeant Slaughter situation on our hands here? If you know, you know. And if you don't know, ask in the comments down below. Someone will tell you. Made a grave mistake, Corey. And then, according to Corey Graves, many reputable sporting outlets are speaking about how Rob Gronkowski is doing some bollocks to keep his 24/7 title around his waist, even though he's going back to the football of the Americans, or whatever it's called. Reputable sporting outlets, Corey Graves, like People magazine. That ain't it, Chief. And I know what you're saying at home, and yes, I am putting a massive Carmella-shaped asterisk on any grave mistake moments in this here video after that Instagram live video those two did earlier this week. She was not happy, and Corey Graves must have spent the entire week since sleeping on the couch, so he must have been absolutely cream crackered by the time this week's SmackDown came around, so no wonder he was making the odd mistake or two. Corey, my condolences are with you, but also you're a silly goose, aren't you? That was literally like watching Alan Partridge at work. What the hell are you, man? And then we had yet another fantastic promo package from Jeff Hardy. Once again, he was speaking about himself and his brother Matt and the WWE when he said it's where we started and it's where we need to end. I'm going to put this here computer down, do the old shaky palm tree and the old awkward turtle. And I was thinking, Jeffrey, just try and tell that to Mathry, who was obviously so creatively stifled for so long, so he had to bugger off for pastures new. I don't think what you said there is going to happen, although I wouldn't be too surprised if it actually did. This is, of course, professional wrestling. But since we are stood here in April of 2020 and with Matt Hardy where Matt Hardy is and Jeff Hardy saying that thing about WWE, got to be a WTF moment, hasn't it? Thank you, Sheamus. Thank you, Sheamus. Good on you. But the funny thing about this is the fact that that Sheamus matchup on last night's SmackDown ended bare time before that Jeff Hardy promo ended. So then, we're watching that Jeff Hardy promo inside the Performance Centre. Michael Cole and Corey Graves have not realised that Sheamus is stuck between them and the Tron, where that promo package is presumably being aired inside that arena. Would it not be? It would be, wouldn't it? And of course, this is really, really weird because, as we all know, Sheamus is really, really massive and also really, really white. So white, in fact, I've got no doubt about it. When the lights are turned off, he's glow in the dark. And then we have Michael Cole saying, I don't understand it, guys. Help me. Help me. I don't understand why Sheamus gets pissed off every single time I speak about Jeff Hardy when Sheamus's music is still playing. Now, Michael Cole, you have got to have some form of stroke behind the scenes in WWE. You have been there and survived there for a bajillion years at this stage. If you can't understand what's going on here, just go to the people who put the show together, and next week make sure the Jeffrey Hardy promo does not come immediately after a Sheamus win, and I can guarantee you Sheamus will not have an issue with you. And then we have Maggle multitasking while he's on commentary. He is checking his glasses and he's calling the match at the same time. Is there anything this man can't do? But then again, Maggle Cole is doing that mere seconds after The Miz, a man who Maggle Cole has proven over the past 10 years without any shadow of any doubt he fancies the utter pants off of The Miz. He didn't do a kip-up thing very well indeed. So Maggle, of course, he couldn't believe his eyes. Probably. Now, Dana Brooke beating Naomi on last week's SmackDown is still something that my brain does not quite compute. But on SmackDown, along with this new, fresh Dana Brooke push we're getting, it also looks like we're getting a push for the Lucha House Party. Really? And then remember the Apollo Crews push that's happening also on Monday Night Raw at the minute? It's like Vince McMahon's WWE superstars are a big box of toys, just like Andy's toys, and Vince McMahon has recently lost my Roman Reigns toy. My God, I've lost my Roman Reigns toy, so I'll dust off the old toys at the bottom of the box. Who's that? It's Dana Brooke. Who are they? It's the Lucha House Party. What is he? It's Apollo Crews. Let's dust them off and play with them once again. That's basically what's happened there. Sorry, neighbours. But weird times in WWE nonetheless. Corey says, I'm absolutely speechless. Michael Cole immediately says straight after Corey Graves, I'm absolutely speechless. Corey Graves says, I'm shocked. Michael Cole says, immediately after Corey Graves says that, I'm shocked! And I'm asking, what the hell is going on there, Michael Cole, you utter piss taker? You've quite literally turned into an 8-year-old who didn't get the sweeties they wanted to because the mum said, no, Ross, they'll make you big and fat, but no, mum, I want the sweeties, I want them all. So I start copying what she says. And I'm asking, how the piss in hell was that not a DQ? Lacey Evans quite literally twatted Sasha Banks upside the head with a foreign object. It was a stick with some card taped to it. Imagine the paper cuts, the bloody carnage. Bailey, she stood there. She stood there. She stood there some more. She stood there. She stood there. She stood there a little bit more. And then quite literally, Bailey walked into a Tamina super kick, which, by the way, is the best super kick in professional wrestling today because it's a super kick that actually finishes matches. But what the hell was Bailey doing? Has she not watched wrestling before? How silly did Bailey look there? Or on this occasion, was the Tamina train a little bit delayed in pulling out the station because probably Vince McMahon was lying down on the tracks? He makes no sense these days. Eh dear. Anyway, it looks like Tamina missed a cue. Bailey looked really silly, but I don't care because the train continues to pull out the station ahead of Tamina winning the SmackDown Women's Championship at Money in the Bank 2 weeks from tomorrow. I cannot bloody wait. Everything I've achieved, I've done on my own, said Braun Strowman during that promo package where we looked back at the history of Braun and Bray Wyatt, which also has seemingly given me a WTF moment I missed from last week's SmackDown because that's where that line was taken from. I was just thinking, imagine being Seth Rollins and Nicholas sat at home listening to Braun saying, "I've achieved everything on my own," when you've held tag team titles with a big bastard. You'd be right pissed off, wouldn't you? Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross with a modified 3D, said Michael Cole. Do you mean modified in the way that move there that Alexa and Nikki did was nothing like a 3D, apart from the bit at the start, Michael Cole? In my opinion, it was more like a double flapjack, or as Corey Graves rightfully said, it was more like an M snapjack ting. You could see what they were doing, an elevated DDT thing, but it was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? But then again, it's nice to see a brand new-ish tag team finisher. All the best to you lasses. So we learned during Triple H's entrance on last night's SmackDown that spitting water up into the atmosphere, that's not okay in the midst of this current pandemic ting. But in that similar vein, doing the professional wrestling with all of the bodily contact, with, you know, the spit flying out the mouth uncontrollably, the sweating, the swapping of bodily fluids, everything that comes in with the nitty-gritty nature of professional wrestling, that's okay, is it? Get in the bin, will you? "I love you, but don't touch me," said Shawn Michaels to Triple H. And when Shawn Michaels said that, I was thinking, Shawn, you're quite literally stood in the middle of a professional wrestling ring where a lot of people have stood there and touched while doing the wrestling. Can they seriously not see the issue here? And then we have Shawn Michaels saying, "Triple H, we've been friends for the entire 25 years. And the little ruthless aggression era child in me was like, what? Hell nah. Hold up. What about the 2 and a bit years that you and Triple H, quite literally Shawn Michaels, tried to kill each other, starting with that SummerSlam 2002 angle and ending whenever that thing did? Was that all fake, was it? It's not. It's all still real to me." But then Shawn Michaels revealed something. I think we all knew that he hates Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie No Fun, as he likes to call her. I've always liked Shawn Michaels. He's a really sensible, well put together human being. But then, of course, in calling Lady Balls Stephanie No Fun, Shawn Michaels remembered the first rule when you become a WWE superstar: thou shalt not make Lady Balls look weak. So there she came, she was on FaceTime and she said, "You tell that no good lazy-eyed," and then Triple H cut off the phone call. But I was thinking, Stephanie, old lady balls there, how dare you say that about Shawn Michaels? That's a physical impairment that man cannot help. Don't be a bully, be a star. Unless, of course, you're Stephanie No Fun. And then we had not one, was it not 2, maybe 3 Katie Vick mentions on an episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown here in the year 2020. And if you don't know what we're talking about here, let's give you a quick synopsis. Remember when Triple H dressed up like Kane, put Kane's mask on, found a coffin with a real-life dead body in it of a young lady called Katie Vick who Kane killed in a car crash or something? Triple H stripped down bollock naked, hopped in that casket with that really real dead body and then started having sex with it because, you know, Kane's a necrophiliac or something like that. That's the wrestling. And then a wild Vince McMahon appeared and he said immediately, "Paul, under normal circumstances, me and you, I'd give you a big bear hug. But me and you, Shawn, we do that elbow thing I clearly do not believe in." And I was thinking, Vinny, why the hell would you do a big bear hug to Triple H, but do the elbow thing you clearly don't believe in to Shawn Michaels? Surely you should be doing the elbow thing to everybody, unless of course they're in your household, which Triple H surely cannot be. I do not believe that Stephanie and Triple H and the kids all live with Vince and Linda and the painting of Vince. And then we have Vince McMahon referencing another thing that happened on the television a few years ago when he said, "Bailey, this is your life. Remember that one? That was crickets. Wasn't Bailey's fault, by the way." But what a weird thing to reference when you're speaking about 25 years of Triple H in WWE. Of all the segments to mention, why mention that one? I guess then we just learned whose idea Bailey This Is Your Life was. Tut tut Triple H. But that is it for all your WTF moments from this week's Friday Night SmackDown. I've been Ross Vidot from Cultaholic.com. Thanks for being a sexual wank pheasant. And Triple H, I hope you recover from you being buried by your own bloody shovel. See you next time.